Hi everyone, Tea Drinker here. Today I'm reacting to Fallout Episode 3. If you'd like to see the full reaction to this and vote on our monthly community film, for just $1 a month you can join the Patreon in the link in the description down below and get lots of other benefits at the higher tiers. I am a massive fan of this game series. I've played every single Fallout game, including 1 and 2, and these first 2 episodes have been very, very impressive and I'm very much looking forward to seeing more, so yeah, let's just get into it. I promise I will not be talking about Michael Emerson for 6 minutes in this reaction. Oh, okay. What's gonna happen? The beginning. Alright. Okay. Backstory for Walton Goggins. Okay, I'm excited for this.
Feo fuerte y formal means he was ugly, strong, and had dignity. I'll give you 2 out of 3 on that front.
This is a great quote. Very Tarantino-esque. And it's a movie set, right?
Do I really have to kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Cuts? Well, why can't I just arrest a guy like I normally do? That's what I do.
The audience, Coop, yeah?
Oh, the idea of the ghoul playing a role.
Bob around here
Okay.
where
Bob, see, turns out Bob's a bit of a communist.
communists. Cadillac Bob?
Cadillac Bob, the very one.
I'm glad they're addressing the idea of communism and how prevalent that was in America.
Let's pick this up after lunch, all right?
Oh, so we're gonna find out more about the woman he fell in love with. Okay.
Well, if you like the taste of lavender, why not just drink a bottle of perfume?
It's subtle. Flirtation.
God, she's gorgeous.
Tastes like someone touching you for the first time.
That's the worst ever proved my mouth.
His facial expression was brilliant. Oh,
We got
A bit of a costume change for you, Mr. Howard.
what's going on here?
Okay,
They even made it in your color.
What is
it
it?
fits.
I presume we're gonna get some look at what it was like when she died or something? Oh! Lucy went through with it? I presume that's what we're seeing? Ooh. It's very captivating in the sense that I really love our 3 protagonists so far. Is that Psycho? Well, it can't be Psycho he's taking. Probably Med-X, is it? Rad-X?
Come on, let's go find the rest of them.
That's such an adorable dog. And presumably he's not gonna have a lot of animosity towards Lucy as a character, I take it. Ooh, I love the dust. It all flying away, that looks great. Is this gonna be maybe? Yeah, the singing comes back. Maybe, maybe the one who is waiting for you. So as you can tell, I'm never gonna get sick of this music, ever. Has she some way of preserving his head, by the way? I'm curious about that. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Oh.
Okay.
This is very, very interesting, the technology that's now within him.
Extra safe.
That is actually a really good idea.
Snug as a bug.
Snug as a bug. I just really love her characterization. It's just such a Fallout kind of character.
Boy, that night really was something, huh?
Oh, Max, what have you done to yourself? But just jumping back to Lucy for a sec, she does really give me the vibe of Moira from Megaton in Fallout 3. Yeah, he's gonna be screwed now, isn't he? Because he is not Titus.
We were attacked. My squire, he fell in battle. He died with honor and glory.
Well, now they're going to come and look for you because presumably they've tracked you, right? What exactly does he think he can do in this situation? I'm very curious to see.
I can fix it. Cost you 5 caps.
Love that vocoder effect on her. He better pay up. What is he going to do with the dentist? Oh, is he going to...
If you do it fast.
That's brilliant, I did not see that coming. Wow, that scene with the teeth did a great job of showing what kind of world it is these characters are in. I really like that.
Step away from the armor.
That doesn't sound that badass. Oh, that's not good. That's so brutal, seeing that kind of punching. Ugh. So he can't return to the Brotherhood, and if they take the suit, he's completely screwed. Ooh. Very much a I didn't hear no bell moment. God, I just love that soundtrack running in the background. And that was before Johnny Cash came in. Okay, this is gonna be good. Oh. Well, you're gonna have to use the armor in some way, Max. Come on. Is he gonna squish his head? That was great. Is that the Brotherhood now on the way because they've tracked him? Yikes. I mean, what can he do? Can he just put on the armor and, like, run away? What's gonna happen? Oh, did they lock eyes? I wonder if he's gonna meet his friend with the armor on and try to pretend to be Titus along the way. Yeah, I think that might be happening here.
I'm Titus. I'm Thaddeus.
For Max to pretend to be a Brotherhood of Steel, like that's just perfect.
I beg for mercy. I don't do anything.
Oh, of course.
Arise, my squire,
Yeah, exactly.
and clean this.
I also bring new orders from the Elder Cleric. The Elder Cleric says, whoever gets the target will control the wasteland. We are to kill whomever stands in our way.
So I take the chip that was in Michael Emerson's head that Lucy was tracking. That's to do with it. Love the Sunset Sarsaparilla logo on the car there. As someone who's played the games, I assume this all links to Project Eden in a way. You know, from that thematic standpoint, it's so interesting to see Max, you know, pretending to be a Brotherhood of Steel Knight and how that works with his character arc. That's so cute. Please don't die. Are we going to see mutants? Is it going to be one of the Centaur, I wonder? Is it actually? She needs that. Or it could be one of the Merc Crab either, couldn't it? Wow, they really did such a good job with the lore of this show. Don't tell me she's gonna try to swim her way. No way, no way. Oh, here comes trouble.
Hello again.
Oh,
Where is it? The head.
Okay, I don't know where it is. Okay? I lost it. I lost it.
she's telling the truth, dude. Wow, he's doing a great job with this role as well, the actor. Well, it's gonna be the crabs.
Gulper got it, huh?
Don't know where, don't know when. So interested to see how Vault life is continuing without her.
I'm being reassigned. The whole opening the vault door for Lucy thing didn't sit too well with the council, so I guess I'm not gatekeeper anymore.
Understandable.
I'm just not really sure who I even am anymore.
You'll always be your cousin. The idea of how the Vault life continues after one of their own leaves is such a, like, recurring story in the Fallout universe.
You and Chet put your sister in incredible danger by helping her out that vault door.
Meaning those raiders could only have gotten into Vault 32 because some bonehead opened the door to the surface.
Yeah,
A single
exactly.
decision that put you could have destroyed the last vestiges of civilization.
It was
Yeah.
Lucy's idea. Every job you've been assigned to, your performance review has been lax enthusiasm.
Uh-oh. Lacks enthusiasm.
But that sounds accurate. How do you demote someone who equally dislikes every job he's ever worked?
Ooh, getting more of his character.
I'm
Okay.
just glad to hear that we punish people down here for breaking the rules.
We've got a job for you after all.
I don't like the sound of that. I don't like her tone.
Rise and shine, everyone. Your catered snackables have arrived.
Oh, the prison of the Vault. Wow, that's such an incredibly interesting setup.
I don't see any apples.
Climb higher.
On my honor, sir. I will find you. Fuck!
Whoa!
Sorry. Apologies, sir.
Max, what are you doing? Stop doing this.
We should repair your radio so we can ask the Brotherhood to send reinforcements.
Yeah. You're screwed now.
Treat it myself.
Understood.
If we find the ghoul, we find the target.
You left the ghoul alive. Great idea, sir.
Yes, right. I know that.
Yeah. Completely playing it off. I'm surprised that they're going this direction with the characterization of Max, but I think it's very interesting. I think in general the show is doing a great job of showing the fascist nature of the Brotherhood.
Show me the illustration.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely him.
If they left the body, it must be worthless.
His head
Yeah.
is valuable. We need to find it.
Is this the girl or the ghoul?
The ghoul. Definitely.
Well, you'd be surprised. God, I love all these wide shots that they bring into the show. It really sets up the landscape so well. Is he going to torture her for information? That's so camp, I love it.
If you help me find him, he'll do whatever you want.
Oh, this is giving me some bad flashbacks to Black Sails.
Torture is wrong.
You know, particular study
Oh.
came out, and it said that
Poor Lucy.
torture and the amount
Yikes.
of torture being doled out across the board. Torturing a person don't do shit.
Then why?
Yeah, are you just a sadist?
I'm using you as bait.
I mean, it's genius, but also, that's so evil. Well, if you're not torturing her, why did you dip her 3 times before doing this? Holy shit. Whoa! Oh man, that CGI is fantastic! Oh no! She needs shoes. No, not dog meat! Is there something about dog meat that made the creature go back so quick?
I should have just let you use me as bait in a poison river.
Love her. Love Lucy.
Do unto others as you'd have done unto you.
Those cobras digest real slow.
Stop.
I mean, I know she's not gonna die, but still, I'm very afraid. What I'm really loving about this show so far is that it's such a simple story told incredibly well. He's going to notice a tattoo on the back of his neck, isn't he?
Seen some things, huh? So, your former squire. How did he die?
Say something about him.
I mean, he has to find out by the end of the episode. He just has to.
To be honest, me and the other guys used to be pretty hard on him.
Oh.
Regularly beat the shit out of him. People at the base, they used to beat the shit out of me.
That was just the way it goes.
I just wish he lived long enough to find someone else to beat up, you know? Only seems fair.
That's so
I
disgusting.
realize that people die all the time.
Don't feel bad.
It's like you said. It's the law of the wasteland.
I'm really interested by Max as a character. A scene like that is great because we see where so much of Max's anger is coming from.
It's the gosh darn truth.
Okay. Well,
I love all this.
decide what to do with these prisoners.
This show is doing a great job of showing how every bit authoritarian the Vault is, as are the Brotherhood.
You know what?
And likewise, how the actual wasteland and the Raiders and all them, how they represent the American Wild West.
I can teach the Raiders Shakespeare. And when they're ready, Marlowe.
I don't want to be insensitive.
Is there something you'd like to say, Norm?
Oh, here we go. Are we going to get the big old speech from Norm?
They didn't know any better. And how could they without a formal education?
Norm, buddy.
What a
The
sentence.
truth is, we can't just. So what do you propose we do?
We can do what they would have done to us.
Young Norm was just expressing a feeling that murdering these prisoners of ours is not under serious consideration.
So I'm assuming Norm is going to go his own way and do it.
It's about the water chip.
Go ahead.
Water chip. We're getting that storyline?
Oh, The water chip is destroyed. The vault only has enough water to keep our population alive for 2 months.
Great Fallout 1 reference.
Okay.
They killed my husband. You're right, you know. If your father were here, he'd do the right thing.
I love characters like Norm, characters who seem so cowardly on the surface, but they are just as ruthless behind it all.
Are you sure about this?
It says the goal is this way. I'm not sure we're tracking the right abomination.
You idiot!
It was my mistake.
Max is such a child, and to have such a child adorning that armor is a brilliant storyline.
Sure.
But sir,
And again, how Max is willing to risk himself to save the life of the Squire. Great character arc. Nice! He did it! All the Fallout 3 music, and Fallout is a game that oh man. Oh no, help him, Max. This is brilliant. I love the humor in this show. And that's how they get the head.
you saved me.
You saved me first.
There's Lucy's boot. Oh, well, they found who they were looking for, in a sense. God, all the set design is just fabulous, truly. I really want to see more of that actor as well. I think she's just doing an incredible job. I said it in episode 1, but man, if we get the NCR in this season, I will flip.
Sir. Sir, please. I need water.
Knew that would happen. God, she is truly such a good actor. Every expression she does is so perfect. That's great how to use that statue at the beginning to show us that this used to be where he was.
Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. Ain't much stays clean up here, Volty.
Is that what happened to you? Radiation?
Something like that.
God, even the way these characters speak to one another, I'm just so invested, truly. And for the score to be so full of... It's great to see somebody who has so much resentment towards the vaults be paired up with Lucy.
You ready to meet the suits?
I'll try not to embarrass you. No promises.
This is really, really great.
You know, I've never done an advertisement before in my life.
Interesting how the idea of performance for his character contrasts with that of Max.
This thing really block radiation? You all are doing God's work here, and on behalf of every decent American, I just want to say thank you. Hey, I have an idea. What if I were to do like a thumbs up? Go for it, Coop.
You call them Coop?
Any opportunity to show off my bobblehead. Oh, that's it! Oh my god, wow, that flew by. Let me tell you, that did not feel like 50 minutes at all. And even those short times where I did check the time just to make sure I was still recording, that did not seem like 50 minutes. That was... Wow, I'm absolutely loving this show. I mean, from the first episode, I was a little bit skeptical just as to whether or not I would like it. I mean, if you've seen the reaction, I was literally tearing up with how well they got the Fallout vibe and the Fallout lore and the setting and how good of a job they were doing. But I just mean more so that with regards to whether I would have a personal preference for it. When you're getting a very conventional storyline, a very traditional story, and very kind of straightforward boilerplate characters and as such character arcs and as such plot, I think for those of you who probably watch reaction channels, you're the type of person who watches a lot of television. So you're used, same with me, you're used to seeing these stories all the time. So you kind of think, well, if this is something that I've seen so many times before, like, is there going to be a point watching it? And what it ultimately comes down to, well, were they able to do a good job doing it? Whether or not they're doing something unique with it is completely different, but you just want them to have done a good job when you're telling a conventional storytelling. It's very much like pop music in that kind of regard, in the sense that when you're getting something that's very conventional, something that's like hitting four chords, the same kind of familiar form chord structure that's within so many songs, and it is within a familiar genre and familiar theme of the song, familiar lyricism and all that kind of stuff. What you're looking for is, I just want this done well, because creating something that is very straightforward and very simple, but doing it in such a way where there's such a high level of commitment to that premise and to those characters, is where the true test lies. I think that there's a lot of television shows that will do that. They'll kind of have something very flashy as part of its premise, and like with the cinematography and art design, and have a very simple story, but then they kind of like lose their way with it, and then they start trying to amp it up and throw in all these other different storylines, and then that's where it feels cheesy. That's where it feels melodramatic, and that's where you get the idea of they're telling a simple story because they don't actually know how to tell one that's complex. Whereas with Fallout, what I can tell from the third episode is that this is being told by filmmakers and writers who are very aware that they are telling a straightforward, very conventional, very kind of, for lack of a better term, a safe story. But to make that compelling relies on them having such a strong commitment to a character. It means that every single scene has to be doing the job well, and it has to be clear as to what it is they're doing. And so far, 3 episodes deep into the series, season/series, I guess, because there's only one season, I'm getting the impression that this is going to be a season that really, really sticks to landing. The fact that they are not throwing in, we're on episode 3, and they're not throwing in a multitude of other characters or storylines to try to, kind of keep us going with the intrigue. It's like, nope, they're keeping it simple. This is exactly where Max is coming from. This is exactly where Lucy's coming from. This is exactly where Ghoul is coming from. And to have it basically kind of be like a bit of a road movie, in the sense, the idea of the head of the scientist, and presumably to do with Project Eden, because they name dropped Eden, and from the games that was such a big component, particularly with Fallout 3, you can understand that this is exactly where the story is going, that it's going to, that what we have gotten in the first 3 episodes is what's going to carry through for the next 5. So this is basically a long-winded way of me saying that Fallout seems to be a simple story just done to the absolute highest quality that they could. You're not getting anything that's particularly complex or particularly new for this kind of action adventure show, and that's what makes it work. It's somewhat similar to, in a way, you could say maybe Mad Max Fury Road, in the way that we have created this very simple, very tried and true story in order to layer upon it all the action and all the production design and all the cinematography and the editing and the music, and have it be this very much this tour de force, this Cirque du Soleil of post-apocalyptic action movie. Well, for me, that's kind of what Fallout is, in that they're having these 3 characters with a very simple story for each of them, all tied by this plot device. And on top of that, you're able to get this depiction of the Fallout universe. You're able to see the wasteland, you're able to see the life for the Brotherhood, you're able to see the life for for the Vault Dwellers particularly. You're able to get those sequences like with Max beating up the guys, the kind of action sequence, but then later on when Max is saving the Squire from the abomination of the water, and it's very, very funny, but also incredibly camp. You're able to get this mix of action, you're able to get these more kind of serious and horrifying moments, you're able to get these more kind of touching moments, like let's say with the backstory of the Ghoul, that kind of thing. You're able to get those mix of tones and emotions. But then from a storytelling point of view, from more of a thematic point of view, and I suppose you can maybe even say a philosophical conflict point of view, you're getting this depiction of what I'm taking from it so far, just 3 episodes in, not tying it with the game series, just looking at this as its own standalone piece. You're getting a portrayal of the destruction of Americana. as I said in the reaction itself, how the wasteland itself kind of represents, in a way, the good old days, and huge quotation marks there, being very sardonic when I say the good old days of Americana, in that the wasteland represents the Old West, the Wild West, in a way. The Old West and the Wild West are kind of one and the same. I mean, this is who the Ghoul is, right? The Ghoul has fully adopted this cowboy persona. This was a character that he was simply performing before the war, and here he is 200 years later, where he has fully adopted this Lone Ranger role. It's the only thing he had. Like, for his role as a cowboy within this wasteland to be just the most clear thematic analogy, just this enormously resonant visual representation of him clinging onto the past. He has literally become a 19th century American cowboy, because that's all he would kind of know. Maybe further from the 1800s, but it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's from this particular era where it's more than pastiche. It's him completely adopting this persona. And I think, for me personally, as someone who loves television and loves these type of stories, it seems to be all the great ones that come up again and again, at least from what I've seen so far, all have to do with this idea of identity and mask. Again, it's in the likes of Better Call Saul, it's in the likes of Breaking Bad, it's in the likes of Mr. Robot, it's in the likes of Black Sails, and here it is again in Fallout. It's this idea of who does our protagonist become in order to safeguard themselves, and how the Ghoul truly is the mask that he has to wear because it's so familiar. And that's what it's going to come from. Like, it makes so much sense as to why his storyline would then contrast with that of the Brotherhood of Steel. This idea of having lords and knights and squires, something that goes way past the 1900s, that's like going centuries back. How that's them trying to safeguard themselves from the present and secure a future by desperately clinging to the past. And it was something that was always an undercurrent within the Fallout game series. And it was an undercurrent that then rose to the surface to various degrees in different moments of each game, and indeed how each game operates. And for me, this is personally, just as a fan of the game series, as someone who's played every single game, and I have my own preferences for something here, something there, etc. For me, this is what Fallout 4 could have been. And maybe that's my preference for the likes of Fallout 3 shining through, I don't know, but it's the idea of you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, in which these characters, the characters and the actual mise-en-scène of the show/game itself, you can have your cake and eat it too, in which you're getting all the aesthetics of the nostalgia, but the aesthetics of this nostalgia aren't just there for the pure kind of pornographic sense of just enjoying it on the surface level. It has to do something with underlying the story, servicing the story and the themes itself. And for me, with these specific characters, that makes it work so well. The idea that each character, be it consciously or unconsciously, be it on a micro or a macro level, each one of them are using these remnants from the past in the new wasteland, in the new California Republic, in wherever you want to call this. They're each using their own form of the past in order to survive. And we even got on previously on Fallout, the line from the previous episode is like, what kind of animal are you going to become once you leave your past behind? Each one of them has their sense of growth that will come. So, and of course, every story has that. And indeed, for an action-adventure TV show that is just so conventional and so on-beat, as opposed to it being off-beat, they're really, really going to have those character arcs fully realized. So I guess what I'm trying to get at here and saying is that from episode 3 of Fallout, we get the idea that this is what the show is. This is kind of like the proof of concept has now been shown to us, that what the next 5 episodes are going to do are going to be in line with what we've seen, because now that we're past the quarter mark, it's very unlikely that they're going to do something completely left field at this point, that this is the story they want to make and they're fully committed to doing it. But it also shows that for people who may not have played the game series and they're just exploring an experience to Fallout universe for the first time through something like this, is like, this is what was always as an undercurrent, and this is something that when you're playing a game, it's something that you can either pay attention to or not. You can play Fallout as a action game and skip every single bit of dialogue and not really pay attention to the aesthetics or the background. Just listen to the music, shoot people's heads off, call it a day, and you'll still get a good action RPG experience. But for people who are paying attention, for people who choose to pay attention out of their own volition to the production design and to the side quests and to every last word of the dialogue, and are able to recognize the comedic juxtaposition of people's heads being blown off while 30 swing music plays in the background, all of it operates as this completely... It's a deconstruction of Americana. I was about to say it's kind of a nihilistic one, but I don't mean nihilistic in the sense of it being like, let's say, jaded or detached or pessimistic or juvenile. I don't mean that kind of nihilistic. I mean nihilistic in a very authentic, true sense of the phrase, in which, yes, this is the death of civilization. It's seeing what Fallout, the TV series, is doing so far, is showing an American flag being torn at the seams. It's seeing that one thread of the American flag that's holding it all together just slowly unraveling. And the American flag is wrapped around you, and you can slowly see it getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And the thinner the American flag gets, the better of a stranglehold you have in it. To me, that's the experience I'm getting with Fallout as a TV series so far. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm absolutely dying to see what they do with episode 4. But yeah, I'm very impressed with the show from a storytelling point of view, but I'm also putting myself into the mind frame of someone who's never experienced Fallout before, and kind of what did they get from a thematic point of view. And again, I think that they have done such a fantastic job of making sure that they get the tone down so well that the entire series thus far works as this really enjoyable, sardonic, very kind of, in a way, you could even say maybe not postmodern, but at the very least, it is quite self-referential and meta, and that works. That works so well because it means that you have a show that works on the surface very enjoyable. It's this funny, camp, kind of action-adventure romp. But then if you just take 5 seconds to cool down and see what is going on here, it is this very, very dark show. It's dark in the iceberg effect, in that it's not going to be what you see. It's about what's lurking beneath the surface. It is such an anti-American show in that kind of way. And whether or not that means that the production can kind of, again, to use that phrase, kind of have their cake and eat it too, that's somewhat debatable. I mean, then you're kind of getting into the questions as to, to what degree is a TV show like Squid Game an anti-capitalist TV show, because my God, they made a lot of money from that TV series, and that's speaking not of even the likes of Mr. Beast making his own Squid Game on YouTube, and how, there's no more criticism towards capitalism left over. As to whether or not Fallout is able to actually exist as a piece of satire when it is making so much money, and it is going to have so much of a level of fandom to it. I mean, again, I am able to speak of all these themes, and I'm not sure to what degree that makes me, happy to have one of these sitting around. I don't know. Maybe that's trying to apply too much of a generalized philosophical answer to each person's own opinion. But that being said, if you have made it to the end of this reaction, as I think about like 10% of my viewers do, if you have made it this far into the reaction, I would love to hear your opinion on that. And yeah, that is pretty much where I'm going to leave it, because I'm dying to watch episode 4. Thank you so much for watching this reaction, and I'll see you next time.